Welcome to Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater. Issues and Answers is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. And now, Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater.
Welcome to the program. I'm Diane Kinderwater. Today we're going to meet a guest who was nudged by someone very powerful to run for the Public Education Commission in District 1. And we're going to find out why did it only take him 10 days to get enough signatures to be on the ballot. Today we're going to meet Mike Schuetze, and we're going to find out why he has all these educational degrees and certifications, and also what the Public Education Commission does. I guarantee that all of his answers to these questions are going to surprise you. Stay with me as we meet Mike Schuetze and why the heck he's running for the Public Education Commission, District 1, who nudged him, why did it take so little time to get the signatures, and what are all these certifications and degrees about? It's all about education and improving the lives of our kids here in the state of New Mexico. We'll meet Mike Schuetze right after this. My guest today is Mike Schuetze. He is running for Public Education Commission, District 1. You're saying, what the heck is that? I've learned a lot about it since he's my guest. Here on the program, we're inviting candidates who are running for office. We know there's a big election on Tuesday, November 5th. We certainly know the big offices, president, U.S. Senate, congressman, but there are a lot of local offices that affect our lives more specifically, right down to the grassroots level. And this is one of those offices, the Public Education Commission, and what it does to affect us. And Mike Schuetze has all of those answers. Take it away, Mike Schuetze. Welcome to the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. My wife and I were attending a class at our church called Biblical Citizenship, and it's an 8-week course, and it's the whole bias behind it, or the reason it's to learn what the founding fathers, why they, the documents that they wrote, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and how important it was to have God involved in all of that. So that's what this training was about for 8 weeks, and toward the end of it, I ran into another individual, Stuart Ingman, who's also a commissioner, and we were talking about it, and I'm like, I'm not sure that I'm, for office, that I would run for office, and then.
I mean, who does that, right? Mike Schuetze,
right,
who runs for office?
I don't consider myself a politician.
Politicians,
Yes,
but
right,
okay.
right.
So you took the course at your church.
Yep.
You talked to another commissioner for the Public Education Commission,
Yes.
who was suggesting you run, and you said,
Yeah. So then there was another individual there from the Republican Party that said, "Where do you live?" And so I told her where I live, and she's like, "Oh, that district, there's nobody running for Senate or for the PEC." And I'm like, okay. And so then I said, I've got to really pray about this, because I'm like, I feel like this is way out of my comfort zone. And so I went home that night and got woken up in the middle of the night, and it was the Lord saying, "Do it."
that's where you got your nudge.
And
How did you hear this?
I woke up in the middle of the night, and the thoughts that were in my head was the PEC, and just about the benefit or how important it is for us to get involved.
And that's how you got your nudge.
And that's how I got my nudge. And my response to him was like, I don't know. And so I said, okay, Lord, if this is of you, it's you. I'll be the feet on the ground, and you be in charge, because this is above my pay grade. This is out of my comfort zone.
Wow.
And so it's been an amazing journey. So I had to get 150.
Yeah, that's the other question. How you needed a lot of signatures. Again, you're not a politician. You probably didn't even know the process.
No.
So, but you got them in 10 days. Tell us about your answer to that question. How the heck did you do that?
Knocking on doors cannot be a whole lot of fun. You knock on 10 doors and you get one door that answers, but I want to say God continued to encourage me throughout the process. because the conversations that we would have on the doors that opened, it was amazing, amazing. People are really want change. They want, and when I say I'm not a politician, they're all like, good, and they're excited about change, and so it was so neat for the conversations that we had.
We're going to delve into some of those conversations, but I had the other questions. Okay, you're nudged by God. You got the signatures quickly because you went door to door and they opened and people were excited about change, what you're offering. Okay, let's find out then about all these certificates and degrees that you have. What the heck is all of this about, Mike Schuetze?
So I got my college degree, and so I was a manufacturing engineer or industrial technician with a business management minor. My first job out of college was with Texas Instruments. I worked there for 3 years, and then we moved back, and I started working for another company as a process engineer. And I spent so much time in the machine shop with it because we would have these tools built, and I was always communicating with these tool makers, and so I'm like, I feel like I need more. So I went back to get my tool and die certificate so that I could have a better understanding of what they were saying and doing. And
even though you're like the manager of all these things, you got your tool and die certification.
Right,
okay.
right.
In addition to your BS degree.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
And then you went and got.
So then
Because we're talking all about education. We're talking about public education commission. So
Right.
I want to make sure the viewers know that this guy does have some education.
Yes.
Okay.
And so then I decided to, I think it was a God nudge to change careers. So I did that for 16 years, and then I changed to EMS.
Emergency
medical services. Started out as a volunteer fire department, did that and found out you had to be a first responder, took that course, thought, oh, I like this. Then I got done with that, and I went to the hospital and said, how do I get on the ambulance? They said, well, you got to be an EMT basic. Okay, I'll do that.
So you got that certification.
So I got that certificate. So then as I'm working with them, and doing the volunteer fire department while I'm working full-time as an engineer, they went from a BLS service, which is a basic life support service, to an ALS service, advanced life support service. And so then I became a paramedic.
Got a certification for that.
That's another certification for that, yeah. So
You're studying all the time. And then you went on to become a fire investigator with the Albuquerque Police Department, and you had Albuquerque Police Academy. They got your certification for that.
So once I got on the fire department, then I obviously had to go through that fire academy, and so then from there I was on the rescue for the first 10 years of my career. Then after that I applied to get into the fire investigation office, and that requires a law enforcement certificate. So then they sent me to the APD, Albuquerque Police Department Academy. I went through that academy as if one academy wasn't enough, but I did that, and so then I became a certified law enforcement, so that I'm both a fireman and a police officer.
And how long have you been working as a fire investigator, correct?
So then I did 12 years with the Fire Investigation Division investigating fires. So
Oh, that's it.
it's an amazing career.
I want to hear about that.
I have been blessed so many ways. My career was getting involved with because I was a policeman and a paramedic, I got involved with different SWAT teams. And then I flew with some medical services, and the Lord has blessed me beyond measure.
Were you a police officer as well?
Yes. Well, I did not work directly with Albuquerque Police Department. I went through their academy, but continued to work with the fire department as a fire investigator. And the reason that they send us through the academy is so that when we investigate fires, we can take it all the way from the investigation to the arrest, the charges and all of that, and carry it all the way through. And there's not a whole lot of fire departments in the nation that have certified law enforcement working in their fire investigation division.
And you did that for how many?
12 years.
12 years. So have you retired from all of that?
I did. Just within a year ago, I retired from the fire department, and
then you got nudged
and then
to
I
do
got
this.
nudged out of my comfort zone.
As if these other things were in your comfort zone?
Right.
I mean,
my wife and I talk about that. She says, you're always seeking more adrenaline pumps.
we got another question to answer, Mike Schuetze, is people will be surprised. What does the Public Education Commission do? here in the state of New Mexico. And
So-
what, there are 5 commissioners?
Nope.
So-
So within the state of New
okay.
Mexico, there are 10 commissioners. And the 10 commissioners, there's approximately 98 charter schools in the state of New Mexico. And so the public education commissioners are managers over the charter schools. The district that I'm in is District 1, which the boundaries for that is west of the river
Wait, west?
of the,
Oh, west?
yep, west of the river, and then from Paseo all the way out to Gun Club Road. That's the District 1's.
I have no idea where this
district.
is. Where,
So it's,
what community do you live in?
I live over in the west side, over in Taylor Ranch.
Okay.
And so that's why that district is so there within District 1 there are 7 charter schools, and so our responsibility with the charter schools is to manage them, to help them get their with the financing and to manage their financing, to make sure that they get the accreditation that's required, and so the one thing that a lot of people think that it is about it's a curriculum.
They think what?
That curriculum is part of our responsibility, and curriculum is not part of what as the PECs or the public education
Okay.
commissioners do. Most of it is, and it's a nonpartisan race, and but yet it's. I just lost my.
It is nonpartisan.
It is nonpartisan. Yes, but
So how many people are running for your seat?
so there's just 2 of us. My opponent is registered as a Democrat. I'm registered as a Republican, which you're required. But then when it goes to the ballot, it's nonpartisan.
Oh, what about the primary?
The primary was I was the only Republican ran, so I won that.
But was that partisan at that point?
No, well, so at the primary, you're split off so that you can only vote either Republican or Democrat. And so I got like 4,500 votes, and my opponent for the Democratic side got 9,500 or something like that. So
How are you going to turn things around?
that's
Well,
but that's what I'm finding out is that the Republicans don't vote. I started looking at the numbers for the primary, and I was appalled that people do not vote. If anything you learn from this, go vote and tell all of your friends, vote. We had a guy that went to 100 homes, and all 100 homes were registered Republicans but hadn't voted in the last 5 years.
because we have a larger base of registered Democrats by far than Republicans.
Yes, yes, but I think that's changing. I think there's a lot of things are turning red, and we're gonna. I think
Well, but
this
it's not. Some people say, well, this is nonpartisan, and it's the policies, not necessarily the party, but
Right,
that
right.
people vote for. And
Right.
especially in this seat, it's
Yes.
it's your policies and who you are and what you bring
Yes.
to it.
Yes.
So again, District 1 is west of the river.
west of the Rio Grande, and then
In
from-
Albuquerque,
in
Bernalillo
Albuquerque.
County.
Yep, Bernalillo County from Paseo, or it's kind of it's a zigzag
Yeah.
border. So you could some of it areas like the border of Rio Rancho,
Mm-hmm.
all the way out to South Valley to Gun Club Road.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
it's a big district.
Yes, that's the one. So we've answered some questions already. That surprises us. Nudged by God. You got the really quick on getting them
Signatures.
because people answered and were excited about change. And then what the commission does again oversee the charter schools, and we're going to talk more about that. And now the other one, we talked about all your certifications and degrees. That's kind of surprising to us. One more answer, and then we'll get into more specifics. But
Okay.
why are you doing this?
Because I was nudged by God, and it shows especially going through that class and finding out, talking to the Republican Party, of how many positions are vacant and nobody runs from the Republican Party, and so that happened, and I was nudged by God, and I said, I'll do it. And it's been an amazing ride, win or lose. I can see God's hand in it, and I've learned. I've learned more education. I've learned about the process and how it all works, and it's a large,
It's a large undertaking.
yes.
We're going to talk about the race, the campaign, but let's get back to what the heck does this Public Education Commission do other than, doesn't have things to do with curriculum. I think the state PED, Public Education Department, oversees that, and a lot of people like education more at the local level. School boards making decisions, schools making, rather than even a global public education department.
Right.
So you are different from the department. You are a
Yes.
commission, 10 members, and your main mission is to oversee charter schools, nearly 100 of them.
Yes.
And what do charter schools mean to you?
Charter schools is an additional option for education. We all know that New Mexico is last on the list of educations, and that we need to improve the education that's out there. Those are the future. We need to educate them, and the neat thing is that the charter schools bring is it's more catered education, and it reaches out to. It started out, I don't know, 10, 11 years ago.
Oh, probably a little further than that. I
Yeah.
remember Senator Mark Boitano, who
Oh,
used to be a
okay,
guest on
okay,
our
okay,
show quite a
okay.
bit. He was a big champion
Oh, okay,
of the
okay,
charter schools.
okay.
I'm thinking 16 years
Okay,
ago.
yeah, that would make sense. And what they're finding out too, that the number of, so right now within the state of New Mexico with 98 charter schools, they are the second largest school district in the state. So there's roughly
The charter schools
Charter school,
themselves?
yes.
As a school district?
right, it has enough to be right.
Oh, is it considered a school district? Kind of.
No, I don't,
But-
see, that's the, I have to
but
do more
kind
research
of-
on it. Yes,
but
just
the
because it's
idea-
unique and it's not a part of the public system.
Well, it gives people choice.
Yes, and it is, and it's and the hard thing is that there's waiting lines to get in them. All of them have more people applying than they have positions available. Or,
Now, do your
locations.
children go to public, did they go to the various schools?
My kids my grandkids go. So my wife and I, we've been married for 40 years, and we have 3 grown adult kids that are married, and I've got 10 and 3/4 grandchildren. One that's going to be born in a couple days. But so my kids started out in a private school, and then we homeschooled for a few years, and then we went to public schools.
But not charter schools at that
Nope,
point?
not charter
There weren't
schools.
probably that many available now.
Right.
So you have 7 of them, and you say, of course, we've talked a little bit about charter schools, but they're public schools, meaning our tax dollars are paying for them, the parents' tax dollars are paying for them, but it gives them a choice. If a large public school isn't a good fit, there perhaps is a charter school, which is what you said, a little more tailored
Yes,
to a certain
education, right?
type
yes,
of education.
program. Yeah.
Tell us what you know about the charter schools in your district.
I've actually
Yeah.
today I was supposed to meet with one of the charter schools and just to get a better understanding, and that's what my goal is to meet with each of the charter schools that are within my district, just to get a feel for their involvement with the public education commissioners and what their view is
But
on.
over on the west side, I mean, I think we've heard of kind of like culinary schools, more artistic schools, more engineering schools, and math schools that are charter schools.
Right.
Maybe some that towards the health arena, but in your district, do they have a certain bent to them?
There's one of them that's it seems like it's more focused on. I've done a little bit of research on like flying or piloting. The one I was going to go to is called Horizon. That's the one I want to meet with them and check. And most
I've
of
heard of the Horizon. Do
Yeah,
you know what they tend to do?
I'm not sure
Okay.
their specifics of what their programs are.
But you said there are 7 of them
There's 7, yeah.
on the west side. That's not too many
No,
for that
no,
district.
no.
Well, if there's 10 districts and 7 in each, that's 70.
Right.
So maybe the heart of Albuquerque. I don't know. Well, you're kind of the heart of Albuquerque.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And yet there's some districts that have just a couple charter schools, and there's others that
have more.
That have more. So.
We've heard a lot of them. So what do you hope to do for charter schools?
To help the charter schools get through the program, make sure that they're meeting all the requirements to keep their certification, and then to help new ones, because there's always new schools applying to get their charter, and just again, it's the importance is how do we, the schools are improving the educational system from that perspective, and just to better the children, get the education of our kids.
So I guess I didn't realize the charter schools in Bernalillo County and Albuquerque, you're saying they're not really under APS?
Right.
They're not. They're
Not.
under the Charter School
Yep.
Commission.
Yep.
They answer to,
The commission. Yep.
rather than to APS.
APS. Yep.
Some people out there who perhaps are not so favorable towards APS might get excited to hear that.
Yeah, and there's you
Because
know,
APS is big.
yes, they're big, and
A lot of bureaucracy, a lot of money going towards that. Is there less bureaucracy in charter schools?
from my understanding, yes, because it's a little more flexible, and there's also too. I mean, there's likes and dislikes from charter schools. It's a competition, and that's another
Well,
misnomer.
competition is good.
Right, exactly. Another misnomer is that people think that the charter schools take away the financing from public schools. That's not the case. A percentage of the money that goes to the public school, the money, that's a big thing for me too, is money should follow the child. So what happens is, let's just throw out a number. The public school gets 10 grand per student.
I'm thinking it's closer to what,
It's high, but I'm just going to,
25,000?
yeah, and
Let's say-
I'm not.
Let's use 25,000.
Right.
I don't know
yeah.
if it's 23,000.
And then, but what happens is that money doesn't follow the student. The student gets a percentage of that, but APS still gets.
Even though the student isn't at APS,
Right.
they still retain the money.
A portion of it, yeah.
Do you know what the percentage is? By
I
chance?
think it's 30% is what goes
third.
with, 30% goes with the.
And 2/3 stays, and they're not even educating the student. We'll have to check those numbers.
Right,
make sure
and
see
yeah,
where-
and yes, please verify my numbers. I'm
No,
still
that's a
learning
little
from.
shocking because you're saying APS receives the money, but they don't have any student to educate with the money. So what's going on with the money? And so that means to educate a student in a charter school, they receive less money.
Right, so they have to go get funding there's grants and stuff that they use to make the system work.
And usually the buildings, I'm not sure charter schools, if they own the charter owns them or the state owns them, or.
Don't know the
Who is
answer
it?
to
Okay.
that.
We have just a few minutes left. Mike Schuetze, what would you like to share that I haven't touched upon about your feelings about this and how people should get involved? And you shocked me. I didn't realize somebody went to 100 doors and they didn't vote. That's a little shocking to me
Yeah,
to hear
and-
that. Well, I shouldn't say that. I know the turnout for the primary was about 22% or 23% of the population, but
And that's the hard thing too, is a lot of people don't, like, there's no reason to vote for the primary because it's set. But we should vote every time there's an election. And that's my big message here is go vote. Every time there's an election, vote and get involved. All of the Republican Party needs people to be at the polls, poll watchers. They need people to make phone calls. They need volunteers. Go to the New Mexico Republican Party website and call, and they are in desperate need of volunteers. And we all, if we want any change to happen, we all need to get involved.
what are you hearing from the people where you said you went door to door? Tell me about what they're telling
Just
you.
the excitement and again, as part of it, the education too, is so they also understand of what the charter school is, and what it's not, that you're not a part of the public education or the school board, and so. But they're all the excitement of change. They're fed up, ready for some new change. And I tell everybody I'm not a politician. They're like thankful for that because it's part of the change, and everybody agrees that we need to improve the educational system.
You said the curriculum doesn't come from the public charter or public education commission, but it comes from where?
That I don't know the answer to that. I have to do some
but
research
you know
on.
they don't oversee that. Probably the state requires all these things, but they're
Yes.
under the commission.
Right.
Is it a paid position?
No, strictly volunteer. So the job is like for a week, a month, a week every month. You go to Santa Fe, and that's where all of the commissioners from all over the state come and meet for the business at hand. So yeah, volunteer.
Does the public know about charter schools when you go door to door? Do they even know about the charter schools?
No. There's a lot of people that don't, right? So again, it's a big educational process for everybody to understand it and to know that they are out there and that's a choice.
Big option, big choice.
Yeah.
There's schools for kids who are struggling, as you said, kids who have interest in aviation. Why perhaps go to a large, huge school where they maybe get lost in the crowd? To me, public charter schools are just more refined or defined for a specific interest to keep the students. And if they're struggling in another school, we offer now through charters a choice.
Right.
But a lot of people feel that choice should be through a voucher because we do pay our taxes.
Right.
And that money should follow the student instead of to be at a failing school or a failing educational system. It should follow where the student is, where the parents believe the money should go.
Agreed.
That's why you're running.
Yep, that's right.
Well, thank you, Mike Schuetze, for running. And again, the area is
It's
west of the river. Paseo.
Yep, Paseo to Gun Club Road. And if you want more information about me, you can go to my website. My website is mikeforpec.com, or my email is mikeforpec1@gmail.com.
Say it again.
My website is mikeforpec1.com, and my email is mikeforpec@gmail.com.
Very good. That's nice and clear, Mike. It's easy. It's easy to follow that. And PEC is easy. Mike Schuetze, thanks again for your efforts, for your service, your public service in so many facets with all your certifications. And maybe we'll have you on again to talk about how exciting it was to work for the fire investigators.
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoyed this. Very good.
Thanks again, Mike Schuetze, my guest today running for the Public Education Commission, District 1. I'm Diane Kinderwater. Make it a great week with your family. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. To comment on today's program or to purchase a copy of any Issues and Answers program, visit sunbroadcasting.org or call us at 505-345-1991.